If the I subsides and there is no subject and object, what is left? It is emptiness or nothingness. What is on the other side? Unquote. The second question I can read out to you after this is from Mr. Louis Amaral.
Yes. Shall I answer the first question first?
Sure, sure.
When Bhagavan has explained it beautifully in the verse 40 of Uludunapduanabandam. This is actually a translation of a verse from one of the minor Upanishads. What he says in this last verse of Uludunapduanabandam is, Akila Vedanta Siddhanta Sarate Aham Unmayaha Urevan. I will truly tell the essence of the established conclusion of all of Vedanta. What is that? Aham Setu, I dying, Aham Adu Ahi, sorry, Aham Adu Ahil. If I dying, I become that, Arivuruvam ab Aham, that I, which is awareness, which is the very, which is the Chitsvarupa, we can say, the nature of awareness, Ade Mitchum Ari, that alone will remain. So what he's saying here, what remains when I dies? I alone. This may seem to be a contradiction if we don't understand what is meant. The I that is to die is ego. Ego is the adjunct conflated. It is I mixed and conflated with adjuncts. Actually, there are not two I's. Ego and our real nature are not two different I's. Just like the snake and the rope are not two different things. But there's only one thing there. What actually is there is only a rope, but it seems to be a snake. So when the snake dies, the rope alone remains. Nothing has actually changed. It's just when we don't look at it carefully enough, it seems to be a snake. If we look at it carefully enough, we say, oh, it's just a rope. So the rope alone remains. But nothing, no change has actually taken place. Exactly the same with I. Ego is not other than a real I, but it seems to be something other. So the difference between ego, just like the difference between the snake and the rope, is not a difference in substance. They're the same thing. It's a difference in appearance. The snake seems to be something other than a rope. Likewise, the difference between ego and the one real I, what we actually are, is just a difference in appearance. There is only one I. When that one I remains as it is, in its pure condition, it is Brahman, it is Atma-swarupa, it is what we actually are. When it's seemingly mixed and conflated with adjuncts, it seems to be ego. So when the I that will die is only ego. The real I can never die because it's eternal, it's immutable. So what is called the death of ego is nothing but the dropping off of the adjuncts. When the adjuncts drop off, what remains is the one pure I. So when I dies, what remains is I alone. I as it actually is, rather than I as it seemed to be. That I is not emptiness, it is not nothingness, it is purna, it is the paripurna vastu. Purna means what is full. What is it full of? It's full of itself. That is, it's full of it alone is real, so it's the fullness of reality. Yes, it is devoid of everything unreal, but unreal things don't exist. So if to say that it's void is giving undue reality to what doesn't actually exist. Because the only thing that is absent in that state of pure awareness is what never existed in the first place. Do we say, if we look at the snake carefully enough and see it's a rope, do we say, oh, it's a void, there's no snake there? No, there never was a snake there. The snake was just an imagination. There never was a snake there at all. So we can't say the rope without a snake, it's a void, it's emptiness. No, it's fullness. It's what it actually is. It's just a rope, nothing but a rope. Likewise, what we actually are is the fullness of being, the totality of all that is. There's nothing other than ourselves. So we can't call ourselves emptiness. Emptiness assumes, you can say, if there are two things, you can say, but one thing doesn't contain the other thing, so it's empty. But if there's only one thing, how the term emptiness loses its meaning. Because empty means it's not containing something else. If you've got a glass of water, if you pour out the water, the glass is empty. So it's only because of the absence of the water that we call it empty. But in the case of pure awareness, we can't even say there's an absence, because nothing other than pure awareness actually exists. That's why Bhagavan says in verse 12 of Ulladu Parandru, it is not a void. And why he says in so many other places, it's the fullness, it's Purna.